Hello, Dominax here yet again with another video toy review. It pleases me to be the first on YouTube, so far as I've found, to review the following figure. This is not a Transformer, though at first glance it may appear to be. This figure was released as one of 3 figures that would later become Transformers in 1983 as an exclusive part of a short-lived Toys R Us line called Diakron. That's Diakron. What this was an attempt in 1983 by Takara to bring the popular Diaclone line over to the United States and market it there. However, about anywhere from 6 to 8 months afterward, Hasbro made the big push with their newly licensed Transformers property, which was using a lot of the same figures from Diaclone, as well as some from another line called Microman. This figure is the Diakron DK-2. That's DK-2. Now there is a little bit of sticker wear, as you may see on here. I'll try to get a little closer so you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. This is a figure that was homaged in more recent years by eHobby through Takara Tomy as the Protect Black Ironhide. However, I assure you this is the vintage piece, not the latter. So let's get started with transformation. Separates the same. You have the upper portion of the van, the upper rear deck, folds down to become the little missile launcher base. I believe he only used it maybe once or twice in the series in his Ironhide incarnation. This back panel, which is the rear of the van, it just pulls down, and underneath here you'll see the tracks. This main one here, you take and flip it up, and it rests against the piece that we had previously folded down. That is the front of the base. Then the rest of it splits in half like so. But before you do that, you'll want to take these tracks in here, rotate them out and down. They might be a little tight, so you want to be careful. These are known to break rather easily. Once you have it in about that position or so with the well, I don't know how well you can see it here. A little L-shaped bracket down there, the red piece. Then you want to take the individual tracks and pivot those so that they are pretty flush with the front track piece as best as you can. That allows for a more sturdy base. Then you take the pieces we mentioned and you rotate those down. That reveals the inner part of the little platform here, a little battle platform. Lastly, you take and swing this cannon up. You can maneuver it up and down in different directions. He can even point down and shoot his own platform if he wants to. Not that he would want to. The DK-2 came with the standard missiles. Came with 3 of them, as you see here, as well as the peg, which is molded in red. I guess that one's one thing that never changed with the Transformers release. It's meant to match the inner plastic here, as well as the little blaster. So let's go ahead and plug the missiles in here. The blaster. Mine is a little bit loose in the fit here, but it still holds up just fine. Now you'll notice back here, toward the back, there are a couple tabs. There's one here, and one down lower a little bit more forward from the other one. We'll be paying attention to those here in just a few minutes. Those are important. Set that aside and we get to the front and lower part of the van, which will become the main robot. I do want to point out though, it does not have the face sticker. As you recall, in Diaclone, Diakron, and Microman and all the other lines like such, they were piloted. They had pilots. They were not sentient robots until they became Transformers in 1984. Take the sides of the van here by the front wheel wells. You'll swing those out. There's 2 hinges. goodness, this is tight. I'm like really nervous. I'm so afraid of breaking this thing. It's not even funny. You can tell here the stamp. I actually just noticed this myself. I didn't see that before. The lighting is kind of bad. That's the regular. Yeah, there we go. The regular Takara stamp. That's not a reissue. There's no Hasbro there. That is vintage. Now you can understand why I'm so nervous. This thing is probably worth quite a bit. The rear bumper sections, you take and rotate those up at the rear wheel wells, about 90 degrees or so. That forms your feet. Then then you can rest it here on the flat on the ground and rotate the entire front half of the van forward 90 degrees. There's your torso. Swing the arms down, and I like to just push them back in just a ways so it doesn't look like his arms are, 50 miles away from his torso. Then you can take the hands here, and there are stickers on here, so you want to be careful. This one on this side is pretty badly worn. Take them and rotate them anywhere from 90 to 180 degrees so that you can have his hands facing the right way. There's the thumbs molded on the top there. Articulation in this mode, if I can talk straight, articulation, it's a new word. You heard it here, folks. Alright, articulation in this mode, you have the foot, which can go 90 degrees this way, or I'd say about 85 degrees this way. Not quite all the way up vertical. There's also the arms you can rotate at the shoulder. He has no elbows to speak of. And the hands can rotate 360 degrees. Not that you would want to do that because that would be kind of painful. And otherwise that's it. Now, earlier I mentioned those pegs on the platform on the base here. Those actually connect with the sections on his legs here. You notice the square section just below his knee. I guess you can call that his calf. It's kind of a stick really, but the rear peg goes there, and the front one will rest just alongside his ankle there, in front of that round piece. So you just approach from the rear, like so. May take a little doing, but you push that forward and it'll snap into place snugly. And providing your ironhide figure or DK-2, whichever you may have, or ratchet, isn't wobbly and loose, the cannon should stay up on its own. If not, you can always angle the arms in to help support it and hold it up. Missile, being an American release, did not launch. However, I have seen where people have taken and inserted a spring into that cavity to be able to use the launcher. The trigger and button and all that have not been altered. I know sometimes they'll do that for safety reasons. You can just insert a spring and it will function again. Just got to be careful, pay attention to what size and what strength of spring you use. Because one, you don't want to risk damaging the trigger, and two, you don't want to fling your missile halfway across the house and never see it again. Just for comparison purposes, here is Generation 1 Ironhide, also a vintage piece. Give you a rough size comparison, as well as Generation 1 Ironhide. Now this Ironhide is one that I kind of jerry-rigged here. I did insert a spring. I found one from a knockoff that worked quite nicely. That's the thing about knockoffs, they're always good for spare parts. It's really nice, screws and springs and rods and whatnot. I wouldn't use the actual like plastic bits because they're usually junky, but this here is an example of what I'm talking about, where the cannon's kind of loose and floppy. It doesn't like to necessarily stay up. So like I said, you can raise the arm up and help support the cannon so that it doesn't fall right down. But yeah, the DK-2 was an exclusive in Toys R Us, along with the DK-1, which is also known as a red sunstreaker, as well as the DK-3, which was the blue trail breaker. There was also a few other figures, such as the Kronoform watch, the Multiforce 14 combiner. That one actually never was used in the Transformers. It was mostly like a lot of little jets and ships and things. It looked like a crazy combiner. Anywho, I honestly don't know how much this is worth. I've not looked into it very far. I've halfway considered possibly approaching the AFA about getting this graded. But then again, I've never dealt with the AFA, so I'm still kind of torn on whether to or not. But in the event you happen to run across this figure, or even its e-hobby homage from more recent years, you're going to be getting a good figure. I do recommend it. It does have a few shortcomings. I mean, the lack of a head, the short stubby legs. But keep in mind, though, this isn't designed to look like a superhero or a muscular robot like some of the newer ones, like Rid Prime or something like that. This is supposed to be a large, blocky, mechanical robot. So, given that was its purpose, I give it a 10 out of 10. Looks very robotic, very futuristic. Aside from the older vehicle model. This is the type of thing I would expect to see in a science fiction movie or show. The Transformers, they changed it. They made this the chest and gave him a head above that, and made him look more humanoid. But really, I like this a lot better. It seems darker and grittier. If I saw this thing coming at me, whoa, hey, don't do that. It's a good thing I have a padded table, huh? But yeah, this is highly recommended. As I said, 10 out of 10. If you can find it, pick it up. It's a nice addition to any collection. And plus, it's a nice little change from the standard regular, Ironhide and Ratchet, red and white. So it'll help fill in your troops a little better. You can use it as a generic Autobot. You can give it you can maybe get the custom heads. There's a few folks that are making custom heads, custom head and arms. There's even one fellow on TFW 2005, and you see his product in one of my other videos, arms, legs, and a head upgrade kit. To my knowledge, I don't believe there's any of them that are in the black color scheme, except for maybe the Best Toys Ratchet and Ironhide heads. That's the black Ironhide and the green Ratchet, which are based upon the movie. But as far as the arm and legs kit, I don't believe there's any in the black plastic molding. So anyway, I'm going to quit rambling and move on to something new. We'll look forward to seeing you in the future, and please leave comments or rate my video. If you liked it and want to see more, let me know. I've got plenty more in store. I've got a few figures I've actually picked up recently. I've got tracks. I've got the Kronoform watch I mentioned. All sorts of other goodies. Once again, this has been Moroni Prime, wasting your time.